movies and other media, when you create characters, it's more of a passive experience where the viewer watches this cool character interact with other people. But in video games, you know, you get to either be that character or you get to interact with them directly. That to me is really exciting, the fact of being able to be some of these characters, run around as them. My name is Matt Kresge. I'm the lead character modeler for Mercenaries 2. I pretty much make the characters look really cool and stuff, and I get a chance to work with some of the best character modelers in the industry, so that's always a fun plus. I do some art creation myself. I actually have modeled a few of the characters in the game, but the majority of my job is more of supervising the other character modelers, basically dealing with technical issues, getting the characters to basically get into the game and function correctly. A lot of my time is actually problem solving in terms of trying to get the characters to look as good as they can in the engine. Sometimes there's a disconnect between when you work inside of a package like XSI, it'll look one way, and then when you actually put it in the game engine with the full lighting and stuff, it looks a different way. So you have to basically, I act as kind of the bridge between that. Also make sure that all of our characters kind of look generally the same. You know, we don't want to have someone that looks like an anime style in a realistic style game. There's a lot of different steps in creating a character. For our game, basically what it starts off as is obviously as a concept where the art director will decide upon basically a rendered look for the character. At that point, then we usually go to a line drawing that the modelers can work from as a basis of making sure that everything matches up. The line drawing generally has all the correct proportions and stuff already in it, and then the modelers work from that to actually get the rough, low-res, the actual in-game model correct. At that point, then once that's been approved and stuff, then we take that and then we texture that, we make the full skin and everything. Then after that's been approved, then we actually make a high-res model using ZBrush and some other tools to actually really scale it up and make all kinds of really great details like cloth folds and little designs and stuff on the clothing. Once we've completed a character, we actually hand that off to the animation department, where I work closely with our lead animator, Austin, to make sure that the characters, you know, they're rigged and that they're animated and whatnot. I work also a little bit with the designers to make sure that the characters are being used. We have a lot of characters in our game, something like 110 or something like that. Because we're working in a realistic style, it's been a real challenge to make the characters have a little bit of stylization, a little bit of personality and stuff that kind of fits into the blow everything up kind of Mercs mentality. And so you have to really push the faces, you have to push the way that the characters look, you know, the small details and stuff. Because with next gen now, or current gen I should say, you know, there's a lot of detail that you can put into these characters. Some of our characters, the more advanced ones, have required in the range of maybe like 35 man days. So that's a lot of time in the game industry. It used to be anything from a week to 2 weeks could be, you know, considered okay for a character. Now everything has gone up by a factor of 3. So it's a long engaging process, but we're really breaking a lot of new ground with pushing characters in this game. One of the characters that has undergone a lot of changes, for those of you who've been probably watching the website closely and have noticed some of the changes that have gone on, is like with Mateus. Each of the characters in the game has a different personality type, and therefore their equipment and their outfits revolve around that outfit type. Mateus was always written in the original game as a guy who was like into death metal and was from the Swedish light gang from the first game. So, you know, we just basically evolved that. He was one of the earlier main characters that we had made, and you've probably noticed that his proportions and his details and stuff have changed, and that's just been a result of, as we've begun to understand really the amount of realism that we're able to put into these characters, we find we can keep putting more and more in. And so we've done a lot of changes with him to improve his look. We added a bunch of tattoos. His face has undergone some changes. His nose, his forehead has changed a lot. His hair, we decided to remove the glasses because we thought he looked so realistic already that we decided that we might as well remove the glasses from him to show his eyes off and stuff. His eyes, for example, have been actually something that's improved a lot. We've really pushed a lot with getting characters' eyes to look much more realistic. We've even modeled them after real anatomy. I mean, they function like real eyes. They have holes in them where actual light can cast through and stuff. As far as his outfit goes, it really hasn't changed too much, but we probably have some secret stuff that I can't talk about that we will probably show off at a later time. So for those who would like to maybe see, you know, Mateus running around in a different costume, you know, I'll just say stay tuned, you know. To be a character modeler in the video game industry, there's several different ways you can go about it, obviously, through school programs. Really, it comes down to practice. Really just getting access to a 3D program, even if it's something as simple as Milkshake. I would say the 2D background is very, very important, but it's not necessary. I mean, you can make great 3D stuff, you know. If you can draw, you can't draw, you know, that's one thing. And really, you do have to understand a lot of different things about how joints work, you know, how the arms bend, how the hands move. Facial stuff as well, too, is also very important. Being able to do a 2D texture in Photoshop or other things is also a very good skill. Costume design, I would say costume design actually is a big part now. You really actually have to really think about stuff, about how everything's laid out. Everything from like little ammo pouches to scarves on the neck and stuff like that. It's almost like, you know, you're a fashion designer in a lot of ways.